In my experience, something that is very unique to the United States is tipping. In industries where a service is provided, you are expected to tip. This is especially true for the food and drinks industry. While I do not have a problem with people wanting to show some gratitude for a good service by giving their server a bonus, I do not think that anyone should be obliged to tip. In most countries, you do not need to tip, even if you get great service. In the States, you are expected to tip even if you get horrible service. For the most, tipping is not treated as a bonus for doing a great job. It is literally what will make the server's wages. I've been told that the customer must tip because servers don't get paid well enough. Well, in my opinion, the bosses should be mandated to pay their staff a livable wage. The whole concept of employment revolves around an employer paying the employee an amount mutually agreed upon in exchange for their time and skills. A customer should not be a necessary third party in this exchange. The culture of tipping shifts the onus of paying servers from the employer to the customer. It should not be the customer's responsibility to ensure the financial stability of the service. I've talked to many servers, and some say that a bad month means they won't be able to make rent. Another server told me that serving is more lucrative than the job they would have with their university degree. In order to gain some more perspectives on the subject, I went to Reddit. If you want to read these screenshots for a bit longer, just pause the video, I guess. So, like me, Winter Bonebreaker avoids a restaurant as they feel obliged to tip. Kodra Kev echoed my sentiment and made great points about the stress it can cause. Perfect Reality made me think, if the chef isn't getting the tips, why does the quality of the food affect your tip? And how about the other workers, the glassies and the cleaners? Are they less deserving of a tip? I'm sure in some places they split the tips between servers and other staff, but that creates other problems. From what I've studied in social psychology, it would suggest that if tips are split, the quality of the service would diminish as the diffusion creates less of a personal incentive to try and secure a tip. Bish Said What highlighted how tipping isn't exclusively for top service, but rather any service at all. Depar Player pointed out that being a server encourages him to do a great job. He also said that he can make 200 to 400 a night, which is great for him, but it made me think. Imagine a construction worker who works his ass off every day and gets paid minimum wage. He decides to take his family out to a nice restaurant for a special occasion, maybe a $100 meal, and then he's expected to tip $20 on that. And the $20 is going to someone who is going to get paid 2 to 4 times more than him for the day. Where's his tip for building the restaurant? I think Politically Incorrect's comment highlights the acceptance of the issue, the unquestionable acceptance of the status quo. Some, like me, could see the humor in it. Then the people of Reddit became angry at me. So I appreciate Lazy Spectator's initial point about tipping being a way out of the poverty, but he turned on me. Apparently, because I didn't go to American public school, I don't get a say. He saw my opinion as an attack on the working class. It was in fact trying to be quite the opposite. I'm not critical of the server, but rather the industry. He later explained that tipping is justified due to a lack of good healthcare. Apparently I need to understand more about the American healthcare system and the public school system before I can comment on the subject. I will say that Lazy Spectator did make a good point about the other problems Americans experience, and I can definitely sympathize with them. But I just don't equate those problems to for the bosses not needing to pay their workers a livable salary. Just doesn't add up to me.
I finish this video, I just want to say a few things. Everything I say here is my opinion. Like everything I do, it's all my opinion. I don't claim to be an expert on anything. And yeah, don't get offended, don't get upset. I'm just giving my perspective of my experience. I might be wrong, I'm willing to be wrong. But yeah, it's what I've seen, and I'm saying what I've seen. Sorry. And further, I don't blame the servers. It's not their fault at all. I get great service, I'm happy. They're not forcing me to tip. I don't even blame the bosses, the employers. It's not their fault. It's a systemic problem. It's become a part of American culture. It's this. You can't point a finger at any one person. Well, I can't. I don't know enough to do so. But I'm just saying what I've seen. And I think it's not a great thing to criticize without offering what a solution could be. So I'm going to offer a solution. It's probably wrong, but I'm going to try. So I think laws and procedure and fair play should be implemented to make sure that a server gets paid a fair wage without having to rely on tips. If you want to make tipping a part of your culture and keep it a part of your culture, sure, fine, but it should not be a necessity. No one should have to worry about paying rent because they didn't get tipped enough that month. That's what I think the solution should be. Tell me what you think. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope your feelings are still intact. I hope you're not too mean to me in the comments. Thanks guys. Bye.